staunch is 100% like, yeah, whatever my partner say, gonna work.
Yeah.
And then zero is like, mommy and them forced me to do this, I go and do it.
No.
What percentage do you think you were
So
believing?
I was like, I don't know. I was generally
Mhm.
like, I don't know if it'll work, but if I'm doing something, I'm doing it with all my heart and full intent. So I did it with full focus. Like I really, really believed. But deep down, I was like, I don't know. But while doing it and while saying it, the intent was this gonna work. This gonna work. But
Intent was there, belief was less.
so
But intent 100%, belief would be like 80.
Welcome to the Edson Breedy Experience.
Okay, welcome to episode 6 of the Edson Breedy Experience. I'm Dr. Edson Breedy, and today I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Jasmine Medina. She didn't want me to call her that, but she is one of the smartest people that I know and also one of the most humble. After I give you a small introduction, you'll understand why I think she's one of the smartest people that I know. I mean, for one, she got her PhD in petroleum mechanical engineering at MIT, right? And she's also working on a second PhD right now at UTT in utilities, right? She said anybody could do that. What she's really proud of is that she came first in the world in O level,
just A level.
well, A level
Yeah.
physics,
Yeah.
and second in the world in A level mathematics, right? So um, I won't call her Dr. Jasmine Medina anymore. I refer to her as Jasmine because she also does taekwondo with me at Edson Breedy Taekwondo. She's a green belt.
Yes.
So does her daughter Iomi, who just did SEA.
Yes.
Can't wait to see them both back in the dojang. Before we jump into this awesome conversation, I just want to thank our sponsor, Synapse Medical Services Limited, which is a private medical practice that specializes in neurological conditions. So, if you may be suffering from something like stroke recovery or SLE or something that involves your nerves or nerve pain, I would definitely recommend checking them out on Instagram or Facebook to get more information. I would recommend their services to anyone of my close family and friends. And thanks so much, Synapse, for believing in our mission to have authentic conversations with interesting people. All right, Jasmine. Welcome and thanks so much for coming tonight. I know you have a crazy schedule. I have no idea how you do it. I feel busy, but when I'm really exhausted, sometimes I think about somewhere Jasmine is up right now working on a paper and helping her daughter with school, doing some sort of cooking a set of food for somebody or something like that. And I get a little inspiration from it. So thanks for making it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So what I wanted to do was start off with a conversation we kind of had a long time ago, um, which was about a little bit about astrology. I know we started off at an interesting point. Uh, it was your take on astrology and how it could be linked to and tied to physics. A lot of people have asked me in the past, if I believe in astrology
Yeah.
or if I think it might be real. I kind of have a strange take on all things. I don't know. Uh, Often I don't know what is real and what isn't real. I kind of just know that if what's reported, how many people reported it, and I kind of just keep all those doors of possibility open.
Yeah.
And I guess with astrology, I've always thought that I found that there are some uncanny things um, that I've noticed in terms of the descriptions of the different signs and how people actually behave, I don't know if it's real or not, but it does make me think, if there was some sort of connection to it. I know you had some thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Um,
So, likewise, I don't know if it's real or not, but I have some unusual experiences and just how I choose to interpret and understand certain things from a scientific background. So, you have Western astrology and Eastern astrology. So, Western is sun sign, so it uses the sun and the planetary arrangements, and Eastern use the moon, so the planets with respect to the moon, right? So, for example, I'm a Gemini. Once you have a fixed date of birth with your yearly calendar, your date of birth with the calendar, you would have your Western sign. So, Aries, Gemini, Virgo, etc. With the moon sign, it's calculated based on your time of birth, your location of birth, and the planetary arrangement at that specific moment. So you need to know your exact time of birth and the coordinates of your place of birth. So if Port of Spain, San Fernando, Bogota, wherever, right? And based on the coordinates, it uses the moon as a reference and calculates the planetary arrangement. So my experience is more with the Eastern one and using your date of birth and place of birth to calculate the planetary arrangements.
Quick question about that.
Yeah.
So the Eastern one is used in how much of these, like Chinese astrology and Indian, more Indian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So more Indian. Um yeah. So that's how you calculate it. In terms of the scientific part of it, so we know how the moon affects tides, right? So the earth is really like this little, the water pulls with the moon, right? That's how you get the tides. And we are made up of 70% water. We have a electromagnetic field with respect to our heartbeat and brain. All our muscles contraction is electromagnetic fields, right? So from a normal inquisitive scientific standpoint, I'll think, well, if the moon could affect the tides, then we have water in our body 70%. So it could have a pull in water. So again, the teachings, I grew up in a Hindu home, so my grandmother would be like, oh, during an eclipse, a pregnant woman, the moon position can affect the amniotic fluid and things like that, right? Or decide how you sleep, the angle you put your head, if you put it north, south, east, west, the earth magnetic field, and yours, you'd get bad dreams, like little things like that. I grew up hearing.
You remember which way is the way it's supposed to be? How it's supposed to be?
So I know dead people put their head, is it south or
To
north?
the south, I believe.
I can't remember. I can't remember. All I know for me, west works best.
Okay, so your head is pointing to the west.
Yes. And she told me to do an experiment with a water bottle and put the water bottle overnight facing us. I never did it and I can't remember. It's so long ago, right? But where things like that, I grew up around.
Can you remember what the experiment was supposed to?
The magnetic field and the pull of the water. Also, I was
The
like
bottle
about
is supposed to change direction, probably.
I was like 3 years old, so I can't remember. But so I grew up with all these things, and I was always curious and skeptical. So I tried to explain these things using science.
I really like what you just said.
Yeah.
Curious,
Yeah.
skeptical, which means that you want to know more, but even though you're trying to get the information,
Yeah.
you are
Open.
scrutinizing
Yes.
and open-minded to the information.
Yeah, because I always wanted to understand why, like why this happened, why, and I'd ask why, and she'd say, well, so much generations, nobody asked why, so I can't answer why. So then I will try to figure out why scientifically. I always had that mindset since as long as I could remember, which was probably in my crib when I was like 3 months old or something like that. So right, so that's the background, and again, personal experiences, right? So, being a Hindu, you have something called a patra, where you go by the pundit and they check the planetary arrangements and see when you'll be sick. And my personal experience, so when I was in Form 4, I had really bad allergies. Like, if I hold my pen, my hand will swell up. And all the different doctors, all the specialists, nobody could figure out what was wrong, right? So my grandmother's like, go check the pundit and see what your patra have. So mine, at that point in time, I was under the influence of Mars, and based on so everyone is different. So Mars might be good for you based on your arrangement, and it might be bad for me.
What was under the influence of Mars?
Me, my health.
You?
Yeah, my health. So you have like different houses, and like, so a house of health, house of family, relationships, spirituality, fortune. I can't list all, right?
Okay.
So my
They're like 12 houses, right?
yeah. So my
12 houses under what? What do you mean?
So the effect of the planets, right? So based on that alignment and the calculation, so you have like some in superposition.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So each planet
Mhm.
will have 12 houses that it can affect?
No. Each person in their chart,
Yes.
which we call either your birth chart or your Vedic chart.
Yes.
Right?
Natal chart.
You will have your sun sign, which is where the sun was when you were born, the moon sign, where the moon was where you were born, where Saturn was when you were born, where Venus was when you were born. And then there's a interplay between the planets, and they would say whether it's a conjunction or a superposition or anything like that, according to where each planet is in reference to the other planet and how those energies are affecting you.
Yes.
Yeah. So based on that, you choose. It affects a house. It affects
All the houses. So it have all periods of time how it affects all the houses. So my house of career might be really good now, but it might be bad for relationships or health. So it's with respect to all the houses, the planetary arrangement.
So at that time,
yes,
you were being affected
by Mars.
By Mars.
And the effect that Mars had based on so Mars might affect everyone differently. For me, it was allergies, fever. So I was like, okay, cool. That's probably just coincidental, that's cool. So I was like, how are I gonna fix it? And he's like, well, let's have this prayers you could say. So, and if you say it, you would appease the planet and do certain things and it'll go away. So I was like, alright, cool, I'll try it. I was skeptical still. I did it, and after some time it worked. It could be coincidental too, right? But this is one of many stories. So my reason for that, and then he was explaining like you need to check it before and you need to do the prayers before. So if you know it's gonna affect you the end of this year, you start at the beginning. And I scientifically explain that with sound is vibration, right? And sound waves travel. Right. So this vibration and the vibrational effect it has, the sound waves, it has a positive influence in it and then it affects me positively, right? Or you appease it. So that was my scientific explanation and why I have to do it before, because the time for it to travel and then we get into quantum and all that.
So that's what I thought you would have been thinking in terms of quantum entanglement of you and Mars, I guess, and therefore when you did the prayers, it would then somehow affect. That's it would be like a direct correlation.
Cause and effect, but I think it's more to it than that, and we could get into that quantum part a little later on because I don't want to jump.
Okay.
So that's what the easiest one was the sound. At that point in time, I was in Form 4, so I wasn't really delving into quantum at that point. That was one explanation that I had. And then another explanation was like, I really wanted to do medicine, right? And then he's like, no, you'll do engineering. I was like, but I signed up for medicine throughout universities all over. I didn't sign up for engineering. So how are he going to tell me I'm going to do engineering? So happened that I did, I was always a nerd, right? So in Form 4, I did Form 5 week, in Form 5, lower 6 week, and lower 6, upper 6. So in lower 6, I did exams and got accepted, right? But you had to be 80. Hold on. Yeah. We don't need to get into that.
I need to do this because I always tell patients / students who aren't doing well in school to try to talk to the kids who are in like the top 3 in the class, right? Go and find out go and find out what they're doing on a daily basis that's different from you, so you can kind of figure out, okay, what am I doing different? Because a lot of times those patients or kids who are like in a trouble situation, they mightn't have parents around or like role models to like guide them into a specific studying route or something like that, right? So you're saying that in lower 6 you're doing the work for the Form 6.
So Form 3 I started art maths.
Wow.
Okay, so you did this is something you decided to do on your own, or your parents was like, hey, do this thing, or a teacher told you to do it?
I had CXC and I wanted to do GCE for options in other universities, different types of scholarships, things like that. So I took it upon myself as something I really wanted to do to start, and then I had a supportive family. So my uncle was a physics teacher, maths teacher. So he's like, okay, if you want to do it, I'll teach you.
You choose to do it.
Yeah, I chose to do it.
Okay.
I don't like to use me as a reference because I'm so messed up, like autistic, ADHD, and I had such bad anxiety. I found a way to channel it. So for my hyperactivity and my brain just won't shut up, it's like I could focus on people and just be depressed because my mom always arguing with me or this person do that. So I just was like, you know what, I could focus on work and channel this hyperactive brain into something useful versus dealing with people. So it's my escape.
Yeah, so don't think about it as being messed up, because I feel like autism and ADHD have a lot of like superpowers you could unlock.
Yeah.
from yourself when you have those,
Yeah.
especially if you know you really understand the condition and you understand how it affects you.
Yeah.
You could unlock a lot and do a lot.
Yeah, so I had hyper focus, I had that drive, coupled with other traumas. I just wanted to escape and just be by myself, you know? So it's a lot of driving factors that led me to do that.
So besides deciding to add maths and Form 3,
Yeah.
each year you would go to the teachers and ask them for the curriculum? How would you get to
No, I just went and got the syllabus. I took my uncle, as I said, was a physics teacher, and I'd be like, hey, I want to do this. Okay, cool. Check on the website. I'll do like I had to pay to do it. So I do like little side jobs, teach my cousin, and my neighbor. That's simple odd jobs to get the money to pay because I didn't want to go ask my parents. I didn't have enough, and my uncle paid. Sometimes my parents did as well, right? My parents didn't really. I just come first in the world and put it, and they was like, okay, however, like they just didn't care, right?
Just make that up.
No, like I didn't. I just put it on the fridge, and I'd always come first in test and top the class, and they just didn't make it a big deal. I was like, yeah, whatever. So I took it upon myself, do the research, get past papers. I had the support from my uncle, as I said, and cousins as well. Really near the family. So I had, yeah, that there.
So the uncle and the cousin were the driving force that made you believe that you could do the work a year in advance.
They supported me. They're like, if you really want to do it, we'll help you. So I had to do my part, and they supported me throughout. So providing background, giving me the lessons, a Saturday, a Sunday, a evening, give me the textbook and say, go ahead and do this. What you don't understand, come to me. So yeah.
Right, awesome. Okay.
We straight from the point though.
We did. But no, I still had more questions. So when the pundit was like, Mars is affecting you, right? He is explaining this as that Mars is a non-sentient entity that somehow has a
So Mars has positive and negative effects, and it depends on the time of birth and the position and that energy associated at a point in time, like the alignment. It affects your particular way. So it's not one size fit all. It depends on your time of birth, your place of birth, and the alignment at that specific time. So Mars is really good for me in one house, but bad in another house.
but what we're trying to figure out is the way it was explained is that this planetary influence is like a force of nature
Yeah.
versus a spiritual
It
entity.
No, yeah. So it comes in the fact that a lot of things are predetermined in life. So there are certain major things that would happen to you in life based on the time that you're born and the place that you're born, based on past life, because it's Hinduism, right?
Right.
Based on the karma that you come with, that is how it is. It could change. So, for example, he told me I would get in an accident and damage myself. I got in the accident, but I woke out no injuries. And I was like, well, how come? He told me I'd break bones. It's like, well, you probably do good and the good offset it. So it is like it's not a blueprint, it's like a guide of how your life might be, and then you have different forces at play that could change it.
Okay, tough.
I know where we strayed from.
Hold on, we're going. One more question.
Okay.
Tough one. So like it might be hard to remember when he gave you the price to say about Mars, right? Did he what was your percentage belief in what you were saying?
So it's not just price, right? You have to make an offer, and I think it was like in a piece of metal or something red. It's multiple things, right?
Right.
I was open minded as
So so on the spectrum of belief, like like a staunch is 100%, like, yeah, whatever my point say, gonna work.
Yeah.
And then 0 is like, mommy and them forced me to do this, I go and do it.
No.
What percentage do you think you were
So
believing?
I was like, I don't know. I was genuinely like, I don't know if it'll work, but if I'm doing something, I'm doing it with all my heart and full intent. So I did it with full focus. Like I really, really believed. But deep down, I was like, I don't know. But while doing it and while saying it, the intent was this gonna work. This gonna work. But
Intent was there, belief was less.
so
Intent 100%, belief would be like 80.
So my mind, I tend to see like I split into two sides, my logical side and emotional side, right? So the logical side was like 100% belief, and the emotional side was probably like a 50-50. I don't know. I just being open minded.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What did we stray from that you?
We straight from how he told me I'd do engineering,
Okay.
and I ended up,
All right.
and I said no, I was going to do math, right? And yeah, then my mom ended up becoming blind at that same time, retinal detachment, and then I was supposed to go abroad to study, and my whole life was just unraveling because she was going abroad for surgery. I was still a minor, I wasn't 18 as yet. My brother was still in school, my sister was in the country. So based on all of that, I decided, okay, I'm gonna stay in Trinidad. for medical school in Trinidad, they don't accept you unless you're 18 years, 17 at the time. So I had a year to wait before I turned 18 to go there. And I was like, you know what? I could just probably do engineering in the meantime, I always.
You could just pull the mic in front of you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, just like as
Yeah.
because you're facing me,
Yeah.
you could like, yeah.
So I always knew that I love engineering. I really, really like taking apart everything since I was small, putting it back together, but I wanted to be a neurologist.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I could do both. So my plan was, well, yeah, I could do both, right? But I really wanted to do med first because neurosurgeon was my thing back in the day, right? So then I was like, okay, I have a whole year to wait before I do med.
Neurosurgeon, not neurology or neurosurgeon.
Neurosurgeon.
Okay.
Neurosurgeon. Specialized in the brain. I was always fascinated with the brain. All the brain books I read, everything. So I had a year to wait, and I was like, you know what? I'll just do engineering. So I knew the dean in engineering based on the grades and the year waiting time and whatnot. And I went and made a case, and I was like, okay, we'd accept you into engineering, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I'll do engineering for the year and then go and do med. Ended up liking engineering so much. I was like, okay. After the year, my parents were like, okay, well, you're going to do med. And I was like, I think I'll finish engineering because it's just 2 more years, and after engineering, I'll go and do medicine. Like, that was my plan, right?
Question, you did engineering in 3 years?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Most of the people I know who've done engineering
16
took me
years.
4 years.
Oh, yeah, nice.
They took 4 years.
So, yeah, so I did engineering, and then my thesis was on brain computer interface, which merged medicine and engineering, and led me to think, well, hey, I could just work with biomedical engineering, and then I ended up in oil and gas. Well, the whole story changed, different factors. But the point is, I did engineering, and he told me I'll do engineering, and back then I was like, no, I'm gonna do, and then same astrology. Then I was going to get married, and that's different reasons why. And he was like, just wait until November. Like, don't do it now. Wait until November, right? He didn't want to tell me it wouldn't work or anything. He's just wait until November. And I was like, no, I need to get married for different reasons. I don't want to go in personal details here, right? So I ended up getting married, and in September we broke up. And he's like, just wait till the November. And after we broke up, I asked him, I was like, why? He was like, because everything is here. It's have that you would have a partner south of you. He was living, well, Argentina, Venezuela, right? So south. And it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So he was just trying to save me the stress of all the legal aspects and whatnot. And it was there. So based on my personal experiences, I am like, what? This is like magic, right? I can't explain it, but I have evidence that it worked for me. And some things didn't work, of course, like the accident and broken bones and things like that.
So with the accident, he had told you were going to get an accident. What was the thing with the
Yeah,
accident?
he told me I'll get into be very careful with driving. I'll get into an accident and I would have some broken bones. And based on the accident, I did get in the accident, but no broken bones. Another one is like 20 this just last year, and last year he told me be very careful of any lumps like breast cancer. I did get a lump, but it wasn't cancer. It was a fibroadenoma.
No more.
Yeah, fibroadenoma. So it was there that I'll have a lump, and he told me, he's like, go home and check properly, right? Because it's there. You're gonna get that.
So he is seeing this in what?
Based on, so he do the calculations for the planetary arrangements, and then have handed on generation to generation the effect of planets based on certain positions. So he's using that as a guide handed on for generations to say, hey, your health is going to be really bad, you need to take care of it. And I think it was good because it prepped me. I prepped my mind, okay, I'm going to get cancer. I'm going to have cancer and I'm going to have to deal with that. And, because what he says is true. I didn't have the effect. And so it's not like things weren't correct. It was there, but not to the extent. And his theory is I probably did good things throughout my life to balance the bad that's supposed to happen to me. I mean, I try to be a good person, but I don't know. Like,
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
Did you see the end, do you know of the end step in how he gets words and predictions from his calculations? So calculations, so there'd be an initial calculation of
yes.
your location, date of birth, etc., time. But then how is he getting how is that translating into
So
words?
that data is handed out throughout generations upon generations. So it's in Hindi. and he would have the planets and the effects that it will have. So he would say, okay, in your house you have Rahu and Moon, and it has that it's gonna test your mental strength. Your health is gonna be very bad. You're gonna probably end up in
Right.
so those
That
things.
step I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So there's a
It's
book.
already
There's a
recorded.
book.
It's
There's a
recorded.
book. There's a book somewhere.
Yeah.
And then he gets like a figure or figures, and then he goes to it goes and checks, and
No.
then
So you calculate it and you get a chart. So based on the calculations, you draw a chart and you put the planetary arrangements in it. You can Google
Right.
it. Vedic
I was about to ask, you never looked at your birth chart?
no. I asked that no, because I had asked you to
I think I
where the for the
calculated
man.
it. So there's
No, I actually sent me by the man.
oh,
I want to go.
okay.
You want to go by the man so you get the interpretation one time.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on.
And I asked him a few things as well. But there's software that you could go on Google.
The software.
Yeah, to do
Yeah,
calculation.
Google.
Well, I've Googled my birth chart
Yeah,
several
But
times.
would it give me the same thing as this?
There's a proper breakdown in the houses, everything.
Yeah.
I'll
And
send it to you.
so the breakdown is like a bit, and it tell you all the planets, how it affect. It gives you a general personality up to your looks. Like mine have something would be wrong with my eye. That's how good it have. And my right
Yeah.
eye, I had to.
But that's what you get online.
Yeah, I had that online.
I'll send it to you.
I put on weight later on in life, like physical appearance, general health.
You could pull it up on your phone as
Yeah.
we're talking.
You could go and
Check my
ask
chart and ask me the question.
You know what time you was born?
No, but this is also very,
It's very
dangerous to say this because if people have that data, they know what's going to affect you and they can send things.
It's for you to read.
It's for me to read
Yeah.
Yes, it is for you.
because
But
then
I'll
I might
send you
reveal.
the site that
I
I've used.
might
I think
really
it was
lotto,
like,
and everybody will know when they
Anybody
lotto
ask
next
you
year.
your time of birth and please
don't tell them.
Don't tell them. If they ask what time you want, just
I mean,
no.
people that you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody you trust, although like if I ask you, hey, what time you're born, I will definitely type in and Google your birth chart. Now let's understand Edson, the
I
strange
love the
creature.
videos. I love the videos. Just to just have to.
Yeah. Jasmine, I have a question for you. Did you think that the advice of the pundit or just being privy to certain pieces of information saved you in some of those instances? Like the car accident. He said be careful because you could be in an accident where you could break bones. So you think that influenced how you drove and therefore saved you from getting into a really, really bad accident?
I do, with the accident, no, but with the lump, I
Yeah.
think like I mentally prepared myself. Like, hey, this is gonna happen health wise. I need to prepare for it. I need to. So with the lump, I was prepared. Okay, I'm gonna have a battle. I'm gonna probably have early stage cancer and have to deal with it. So, yes, it did prepare me. I put things in place like make sure my will was good, make sure life insurance and everything taken care of if I happen to die. Yeah, like all those things. And certain things he would tell me that he don't want to tell me. So I know there are things there that he choose not to tell me. I don't know why.
I think because we acknowledged before that it's not like a hard set blueprint, but it's more these are how the planets can influence your life.
Yeah.
And based on other things that are influencing your life, it could go in another way.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's my experience. So how could I not believe in it, right? And then I try to use science to justify all of this.
Yeah.
So I mean, by now those are like at least 5 major interactions you have.
Another weird one actually was you because you have evidence of it. Remember when we now met? I was telling you when you me when I know when we start talking a lot. I told you that when you me 7 something. I don't know if it's you or
Yeah,
Shiv.
no, we know. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I told you and Shiv. I was like, hey, I just when you me my daughter. Just born, I keep getting these weird dreams that she was with her dad and she fall and damage her head, and I keep getting this weird dream like 7. When she's 7, something gonna happen to her. When she's 7, something, and I shared it with Edson and when she was 7, there's in the dojang stuff. She had multiple kidney stones and
Wow.
she was in the hospital for a long time.
A long time.
And well, yeah, she
Yeah, she was there for
she
a
was
long
out for a while.
Wow.
It took a while to figure, almost a year to figure out what was going
wrong?
on and stuff. And that was no pundit or anything. That was just my
Your
dreams.
dreams, yeah.
Yeah, like, so I'm like, how could my child not be born? And I keep getting this dream 7, something gonna happen at the age of 7, and it's something so out of the blue that happened. I was thinking, okay, probably an accident or something like that. And yeah.
So, by now you've had multiple, at least 6 major issues that were brought up by a pundit
Yeah.
using the system, the first time you approached the prayers and the system of rectification at 100% intent and about 80%, no, 50 belief, right? So now I guess when you go by him, it'd be like, okay, XYZ happening, you hitting it with 100% belief,
Why
100%
when he
intent.
told me really long, I was like, yeah,
Your one time.
yeah.
Right. Okay, so I mean, I guess the way I've been thinking about prayer recently, prayer, meditation, affirmations, um, any thought of intent is that when you believe in something strongly, you can impact the your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been seeing that there were research projects that were talking about intent affecting random number counters,
Yeah.
right? Where if there are ones and zero, like the random count, a random number generator, sorry, produces a random one or random zero, and by in using a certain amount by the person using the program wanting more ones to occur, you end up getting actually more ones than the expected 50-50, right? So I mean, I didn't I was trying to find it for today, but I couldn't find it. And what I did find was the opposite actually. It was intentional observer effects on quantum randomness.
Yeah.
A Bayesian analysis reveals evidence against micro psychokinesis, right?
Yeah.
So that it was a meta-analysis, and they put like 13,000 people online to look at random numbers and try to mimic that, and it found that there was no effect or whatever. But I think you were mentioning that there was an experiment that kind of showed how intent affects.
In terms of physics, so observing, right? So not really intent. So we could tackle this at different sides. So people are big on this manifesting. Big about if you could manifest all this into your life. So I think that stems from basic quantum principles. But I just want to mention that experiment, that Young's double slit experiment.
Right.
So what they did in this experiment is shoot some atoms through a slit, right? And two slits. And the first time they shoot it, it had a wave pattern in the background. The second time they put a camera right after the slits and it had a particle. It was through the both slits, not like a wave pattern, right? So it showed that's just a brief summary, right? In simple terms. It's more detailed than that. So what it showed is that when you observe something, the effect on it is different from if you're not observing it, right? So this is related to quantum, right? And it's tied to something called the dual particle nature. So wave or particle, right? And it goes deeper than, so it basically says you have a wave and only when you observe it, it exists as a particle. So you have Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I'm gonna try to break it down as simple as possible. And it's tied to quantum, right? Quantum field theory. So what Heisenberg uncertainty principle is basically is that say you have a waveform like it's just a wave, right? You have particles will pop in and out of existence, so momentum in random amount of states indefinitely. So you have random. So say I have a sheet of paper. Okay, this phone, right? So I'm gonna use this phone, right? So this is my wave here, right? I have particles up just popping up.
So there's a wave
It's a wave.
a wave like that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, a wave. So for simplicity, we could just say a wave. So waves and particles have different properties. So with the wave, it could be any possibility, right? The particles can exist in this position here. It can exist here, but it doesn't come into existence unless you observe it. So all possibilities exist. It's just when you observe it that one becomes reality.
Does that, and it also, well, from what I've read as well, that ties into the perspective that these particles and waves have a consciousness and awareness of the observer.
Yes. So to break, so I wanna similarly, so to add to this point, I'm just trying to build everything to this bigger picture here, right? So we have the uncertainty principle, we have the wave particle duality. Then Higgs boson, which is a big one, came about in 2012. It was proposed by scientists in the 1960s, and they call it the goddamn particle. Not God particle, it's like the goddamn particle. It's there, right? So it was proposed, I can't remember the exact scientist, but I know Peter Higgs, I believe, was the one who proposed the Higgs boson exists, right? And they call it a goddamn particle, but now it's a God particle. And in 2012, at CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, they have evidence of Higgs boson existing. Now this is a real big deal, right?
Yeah.
It is like it could tie into the beliefs of manifestation, energy, interconnectivity of everything and everybody. So basically, this led to the Higgs boson field. And what the Higgs boson field is it something net positive mass. So you have weight and well, we have weight and mass on Earth. Gravitational field gives us weight. If I go in space, I have no weight, but I have mass. So I will weigh nothing, but I'll have mass. So the concept of mass you need to understand to get to this point. So your mass is just the sum of the all the atoms, the nucleus of all the atoms, right? In your body. But weight is a function of gravity. So you have it on Earth, but you don't have it on space. So the Higgs boson field is net positive, meaning that it has mass. And okay, so let me go. So just keep that aside, right? So the Higgs boson field is net positive
Positive and has mass.
and has mass, right?
If net positive mean electrically positive.
I mean, it has mass. So
Okay.
it's called vacuum expectation value, and it is 246 giga electron volts. That's by itself, right? That's just as it is, right?
Okay.
Right. So the other states, so like we have electrons. So this is high level. So in school you learn like you have an electron, a proton, and neutron. It's way more complicated than that.
Right.
You have quarks, you have gluons, you have neutrinos, you have photons, you have different things, right? So photons is from the electromagnetic spectrum, meaning like visible light, X-rays, gamma rays, or whatever, packets of energy. So classical physics is Newtonian, which looks at things at the macro level, and quantum looks at the micro. So it's totally different at the micro. So the micro looks subatomically, and things are really different at that level, right?
It's kind of magical.
Yeah. So right, you have these different waveforms. So say let's look at the electron field then. So you know how in school, like you have two electrons here and this outer shell, and it's actually a wave, right? And it could be at any point at any moment, right? So let's look at the electric field. So an electron has energy of 0.511 mega electron volts, right? 0.511 mega. So let's say this is the Higgs boson field here, and this is my electric field here. So I have popping in and out like uncertainty. Electrons could be here, anywhere, and it has energy. It have an energy of 0.511 mega electron volts, right? But it has no mass. It doesn't have any mass as it, because it's popping in and out. It's just energy, no mass.
Right.
It needs to interact with the Higgs boson field to give it its mass. So that 0.511 jumps up to interact with the Higgs boson field. You have coupling taking place, and it gives the electron mass.
Right.
So by itself, the electron doesn't have any mass. It needs to be there.
Right.
So anything that has mass needs to interact with the Higgs boson field. So every single thing in the universe exists because of the Higgs boson field. And the Higgs boson field account for 1% of the total mass in the universe. Just 1%. The other percentage of mass comes from the other forces, like your quark forces and the solar forces, right? But that 1% is responsible for 100% of the universe. So basically, for anything to exist or have mass, it needs to interact with the Higgs boson field. So basically, we're all connected by the Higgs boson field because we all have mass. So every single thing, the cup, the light, the table, everything is connected to the Higgs boson field. So we all have that commonality, right? And this is the only thing that has net positive mass in the entire universe that we are aware of. So science has ever there's only so much we know, right?
So a proton.
Oh?
A a proton is net positive mass?
No, a proton is only net positive because it reacts or couples with the Higgs boson field. Nothing has mass without coupling with the Higgs boson field.
Okay.
So basically, for everything to exist in this to have mass, it needs to interact with that. Otherwise, it's just energy. The only two things that doesn't interact with the Higgs boson field are photons and gluons. So those are the two things that we know. However, so it's a little more complicated than that. So right, that's the Higgs boson field, right?
Right.
So then the boson is a heavy subatomic. It's like a elementary particle, right? So the boson is like an electron and proton, whatever. But the thing about it is the LHC, Large Hadron Collider, you can't create it. How they know it exists is because it decays to certain products. And why it's so hard to prove its existence is because it's a very heavy particle. So electron is 0.511 mega electron volts. That is like 125 giga electron volts,
You
right?
can't see
So
it.
it's so heavy, and the universe just wants to exist in the lowest energy state possible, right? Electrons is so low.
So it quickly breaks down, and we
So
we
it
don't have
breaks-
something that could measure fast enough
So
before
it
it
breaks down at, I think it's 1.25 by 10 to the minus 22 seconds. So you can imagine how much that is, like
Right.
1.25 by 10 to the minus 22 seconds. So, but we were able to pick up the byproducts that it breaks down to. And over and over and over, how much of the times then so if we know the byproducts of it exists, then hey, we could say, and you know what is one of the byproducts of it? Like photons.
Okay, all right, okay.
So photons can't get mass from it, right? Photons exist without mass from it. So I have a theory that everything that exists only mass wise only because of the Higgs boson field. So everything in the universe have that in common.
No, but that is what's understood, right?
As of now, yes,
Okay.
that's what's understood as
As
of
of now, right.
Right. So this Higgs boson field, right? It needs to interact with the other energy fields to give it mass. So it makes it into existence. It just exists as energy in the other fields. So, for example, if in this life I choose to go and move the fan, you have, remember, in the other energy fields, you have things coming in and out of existence, right? So, if I think about moving it and not moving it, in this life, I choose to go and move it. So, it has mass, it's coupled with the Higgs boson field, and it's moved. In the other world, it has no mass because it's just in my thoughts. I'm thinking about not moving it. But in some parallel universe, in the infinite amount that it have with the different decisions, I chose not to move it, but it has no mass and it isn't coupled in the Higgs boson field, so it exists in an energetic realm. So all the possibilities or outcomes exist in the energetic world. It just doesn't have that coupling with the Higgs boson field to exist in this universe.
Okay, so in that explanation that you're looking at there's only one active jasmine
Yeah.
that can interact with mass.
Yes, all the others are just at energetic level. So one physical, one that has mass,
So all the others are just
energy states.
energy states that interact in terms of like visions, voices, thoughts, that sort of thing.
Then if we're looking at that way, then we need to look down at into energy standpoint. Voice is really vibration of matter, right? Or vibration waves. You have waves. Sound is vibration. So then you need matter to vibrate, right? You need mass space to vibrate. So I think what it exists as in these other planes is just energy, pure energy. And go ahead.
Okay, so is that the standard way people look? Like, I know there are lots of different ways people look at parallel universes, right?
Yeah.
But is that the standard way people look at parallel
That's
universes?
just my opinion. My opinion based. So I have a few different theories of my own. So one is you have an infinite number of universe,
Right.
right? Infinite number. You have the physical one here, but you have the other ones with different decision or choices that you make. And one possibility for afterlife is when I die, the Higgs boson field is just coupled with another and gives it mass, and you continue to live on. That's just another one I have is, so we know that the Higgs boson depletes the photons, right? It decays the photons, and the photons cannot interact with the Higgs field. Higgs field, right? So I exist as a photon. The speed of light is energy. So I have energy, but same energy that's common with things that is in existence, and I just don't have any mass.
All right. So there are other scientists who believe that those other parallel universes have physical jasmines.
Yeah, there are people that believe that we're just living in a simulation with multiple different. Yeah.
Okay, so minus the simulation theory, the parallel universe theory, is it standard for people to believe that there's mass in those other universe? The jasmines have mass in those other
Yeah,
universes.
I think it's standard. A lot of people that you talk to will say, well, yeah, it have multiple and I exist in multiple in different forms.
So, how do you believe in reincarnation?
I do, based on the fact that energy can be created, not destroyed, but can be converted from one form or another, and based on my understanding of this new data that the Higgs field is what gives you mass. And when I die, my physical body remain, but you need the energy to couple with the Higgs field to give you mass. So my mass remain in this physical realm, reincarnated, but the energy is
It's still
decoupled
there.
from that,
Mhm.
and it goes in a different plane.
So, when you pass away,
Yes.
you could end up back in this universe
Yeah.
as a different entity,
Yes. Yeah.
or you could end up in another universe back as Jasmine. But this is happening so many times that it could really be anything.
Anything.
Nine.
Right.
Yeah. So, and based on my personal experience, I think what happens is so you have the mass that remain on Earth because it's coupled, the physical body that will deplete the dust and probably grow to nutrients in a tree or whatever, right? So it's there, it remains that's still coupled, but the energy that it has, that together with that, I think it pulls it depletes the probably a photon or some other thing and it exists in just a pure energy realm. That's why like you have these mediums and say they communicate with the dead. They're not apparent physically but on an energetical level. And my personal experience too, so when my mom passed away, I had myocarditis with the injection and when I took COVID injection and I didn't know couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, right? And I had a weird dream where she came and touched my heart and said it'll be fine. So I interpreted that as okay, something traumatic gonna happen, probably my dad gonna die and she come to comfort me or whatever. And the doctors thought it was something wrong with my lungs. And then I remember telling those around me, I was like, it's my heart, because my mom said it's my heart. How it could be my lungs? And then eventually realized, well, hey, it was myocarditis, and that's one of many examples, right? Um, and I think so the energy exists and they can't appear, but the energy could interact with your energy. Your energy, because you have your energy which couples to give you the mass, right? And so I think in terms of like how people talk about spirits and things like that, they exist. They exist in a different. They just don't have any mass.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the concept of a ghost
Yeah.
comes about.
Yeah,
or-
so like they can't harm you, like they say the ghost can't harm you, but it could do things like the energy could throw down the fan or cause static
Right.
because it's energy. So they have energy, but it can't physically appear in front of you, right? So
Okay. So, guys, on the podcast, you're going to hear high science and you're going to hear some bubble, right? Have you ever been to CERN? Have you ever been there?
yes, I've been there.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
Yeah,
Right?
I had to.
When
They
you.
have a visitor. Go ahead.
You have a what?
They have like a certain trip they do for visitors. So when you go once they have the tour, you could do the tour.
Was the Kali statue there when you went?
It wasn't a Kali, it's a Nataraj. So a Nataraj is Lord Shiva and
Oh, it is Lord Shiva. It is
Yes.
Lord Shiva.
there's a Nataraj, which is the dancing form of Lord Shiva, which in Hinduism represents destruction and creation. So that cosmic dance is the cycle of creation and destruction.
Okay. What so the reason I talk about the bubble is I'm not sure if you've been following. I don't. You don't have time to be on social media, but there's been this weird report about spiritual entities or entities being seen at CERN recently. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. But okay, so I haven't seen it, but if you have so how the accelerator works, you speed up these ions or elementary protons they use close to the speed of light and then collide them, you will have the decay and creation of whatever. I don't know, but so from a science, you would have the decay, right? So I could understand from like an energy standpoint, and the energy created could just destroy the whole thing, but how they do it doesn't, right? So I would say the force of colliding the matter. So like remember the same uncertainty principle I spoke about, and you collide it and you observe it and you bring it into existence. That probably what they say they create is not something physical but an energy form. And I'll give you an I like to tie it to practical examples, right? So when my grandmother was a young, she told me she had to go out and had to leave the kids alone, right? So she would visualize like it had a man and a horse. So this is like again the D as like long ago the Spaniards used to sacrifice humans and they used to be on horses to protect the jewelry that they bury or whatnot, right?
Sorry, the Spaniards used to sacrifice humans and they used to be on horses.
Yeah, they used to be. So this is just what I hear from my grandmother, right?
Yeah.
So they used to be the guys and horses walking. Well,
Right.
not walking, but on the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would sacrifice lives to protect the energy, I guess, to protect whatever. So if somebody tried to go and get it, the spirit would run them away or whatever, right? So my grandmother had to go out and she said, well, she believed in it. They call it the D and offering for the D in it, at least how I grew up, right? So she would visualize this man and the horse all the time and God in the area, right? Continue visualizing it every day. So this is where the manifestation things come to play. And someone came, a visitor came, I think it was some family. And it was like, we couldn't go inside because the man and the horse run us, right?
Right.
So then I was like, wait, had no man and the horse? And she's like, right, so what I'm trying to tell is I visualize every day and pour energy into this man and the horse, that it wasn't physically there, but the amount of energy concentrated into it that they came and they said they see the man and the horse, right? So this is a story my grandmother shared to me. And how I interpreted this is in terms of praying and like well for Hinduism, right? People say we worship idols, right? But if it's a religious picture or something, and I pour all this energy and this prayer into the energy associated with it, bring it into gives it life, it feeds the energy. So it doesn't have the mass to exist, but the energy is there and it's growing. And same with prayer. Like I believe from a scientific standpoint, prayer could work as say affirmations. When you
It's the
start
same.
saying things about yourself, you start believing it, right? So I think this is where, in terms of prayer, and if I believe it works, it's like if I have two choices. It's either it have a God or it don't have a God, right? If it have a God and a prayer, yeah, great. If it don't have a God and a prayer, well, okay, too bad. But either or, if I pray, I win in the end, right? I and lose out much if I don't have a God and a prayer. But if it have a God and a prayer, well, I win.
Yeah.
So it changed my view, and I think science and my experiences made me spiritual. And I wouldn't say I'm religious per se, but I believe you could link quantum and all of these things to spirituality. It shows you the connectivity with everybody, energy, that energy can't be created nor destroyed, but can be transformed. So when I die, I'll exist in a different realm. Then how does it explain the karma I bring from past life with the patra that turns out to be true for me, right? So I think it's all connected. It's just to bridge both and put it together.
I agree. Um, w- Regarding CERN, right, and the experiments where they speed up the protons, etc. Have you ever heard people talk about the collisions causing us to move into other parallel universe, like a mass movement into parallel universe? Have you ever heard people talk about that theory?
No, I haven't. But you want me to think about my views?
Yeah, like
on it?
how could something like
So
that?
I would say if you have these energies and you so manage to couple it with Higgs boson and you bring these things into existence, it won't really be a parallel universe. It'd just be coupling with the Higgs field. Sorry, I keep saying Higgs boson. It just be creating these things, right? Or these things just coming into existence.
What things coming into existence?
Whatever energy
You're trying to manifest.
yeah, whatever energy they created. Well, energy can't be created nor destroyed from the decay of the particles or whatever they did. If it have, as you say, entities or energy there, it would be like a ghost coming to life, though. So I don't see like spirits and stuff like that come into life. I don't see how it happens. Like I think
the what needs to be there for it to couple with a Higgs boson field, it needs to be like I don't understand fully what causes. I just know what doesn't couples with it.
So probably later on when science advances and my understanding or my interpretation of it develops, then I'll probably help. But I don't think it will.
At the end of the day, you think it's unlikely for any collision in CERN to cause a mass movement into a like.
I'm not saying it's impossible
No,
because
again,
I don't
nothing's
know
impossible.
anything
Nothing's
possible.
impossible.
I just say it's highly
Highly
unlikely
unlikely.
based on what I believe or understand.
Do you think that a collision could cause a change in our reality besides like on that local level, like right in CERN?
That's a hard question because I really don't know, and I don't like to have opinion unless I have enough data to have
Okay.
opinion. So I really don't know. I don't.
As of right now, the standard scientific understanding is that really those changes that they're observing are very local
Yeah.
and small. Okay, all right. Um, there's also an interesting thing about CERN that's kind of coupled to the solar eclipse coming up on April 8th.
Oh yeah. So
So, no, I'm not sure if you heard about. Well, first of all, CERN clarified, but people who were
going to be
saying
doing an experiment.
that they thought it was people thought that it was unusual that CERN is supposed to be coming back online
And
on April 8th. Right? But what someone from CERN apparently said was that they're actually the collider is on right now and they're doing like testing or whatever, but they're not doing official testing until April 8th, essentially. They just like I guess getting the machine ready and recalibrating certain things. But I know there's a lot of weird propaganda
Yes.
about the solar eclipse.
So
Have you seen anything like that? I don't know if you
I've
have
heard
time
about
to.
it, but I didn't follow up on these things in like a really long time, so I'm a little outdated on it. But I heard someone mention it, and with respect to the eclipse from an astrological standpoint, again, the planets have different effects on you, right, based on the what we
Right.
spoke about earlier. So if it does, I know again from at least Vedic astrology, the effect of effects, eclipse have effects on different people differently, depending on the same thing, because it's a planetary alignment, right? So it might have a negative effect on you or positive. So yes, I think it has some sort of effect in terms of that. But with respect to what's going on CERN, I don't know. I have no idea. But taking it from that standpoint, if it does have an effect and they are aware of it, and say, hey, okay, it's an astrological event, and we know in terms of energy, ABC is the case, and this might happen, then yeah, they probably we aren't aware of things that they wouldn't tell us, right?
Right.
so if I want to play go along with conspiracy theories and stuff, then
So
that's,
I'm gonna max out the conspiracy theory and tell you all the weird things that are supposed to be happening on
Yeah.
April 8th, right?
yeah,
So for one, solar eclipse. Full solar eclipse
yeah.
passing through United States. There's gonna be a nice track across the United States where there'll be a full solar eclipse,
You
right?
know if it'll be visible from CERN, Switzerland?
I don't believe so.
So
I
it's the
don't think
effects based on the at least the astrological side. The effects is where it's visible.
Right. Okay.
Not visible as it, sir.
Right. So I mean, I've given you all the,
Yeah.
and these are not things that I specifically believe. It's just what
Yeah.
people say, and I just like to be aware of what large volumes of people are talking about, right? So on April 8th, let's go on all the weird things happening on April 8th. So, one, the solar eclipse is happening.
Right.
Two, there's supposed to be this mass eruption of two different types of locusts in the United States that have been hibernating for I think 17 and some other set of years, right? So there, right? Normal, right? Then
It's possible.
a
Yeah, it's
locust
possible.
on the same day, right?
It's possible that can happen. Yeah.
Soon, particle collider all of a sudden decide that on April 8th they're going to resume
Just
their
be
operation.
feeding it to make the people think something we don't know their motive.
Yeah. Right. So also like a lot of schools in the U.S. government has decided to stop people from going to school on the day of the solar eclipse.
Yeah, but
Right.
good reason.
Why?
because to look at it with your bare eyes. I mean,
No,
So
they're
we-
afraid of all these things that are gonna happen. And NASA going
So-
to launch
so
three rockets up in the sky.
so the logic that that they say is that there's so many people flocking to the area of the solar eclipse, they want to make it as safe as possible. I'm like, all right, cool. All right. They're also sending out the National Guard.
Oh, what
to
if the US
protect
is
people.
planning like a global attack on that day now, and that's the reason why that
Uh-huh.
they
That the US planet. But
no, like
hold
some
on.
attack. What
So
if they
before-
have like a atomic bomb or something?
I love a conspiracy.
So, no-
I
so,
think that's-
I just want to throw out what I would call the facts as of right now of things that's supposed to be going on before I get into conspiracy. So nothing I said.
it sounds awful.
So nothing I said so far is a conspiracy. It's just unusual things that seem to be happening on the day, right? So NASA is also launching 3 rockets into the solar eclipse to test something.
Yeah,
They get, but from what I don't understand, right? I don't understand how that's work, because when they launch the rockets, right? Where they just launch it in the direction of the solar eclipse.
They spin the orbit of the Earth, so I launched to go in
Right.
orbit of the Earth. But I didn't follow up on. I saw an email, so I subscribed to NASA, so I saw that
Right.
they're planning something, but I didn't look at it in detail.
and even if you of the eclipse, and it's on my phone, I guess.
Um,
I didn't.
Come on, when you get a chance, could you just tell me what's the name of the program? The name of the rock, I guess the mission to send these rockets out. It has a really interesting name.
Haradan something. Isn't that the name?
I'm not sure. If you pull it up, it had
That's
something
a
to. It was.
rocket.
They had an unusual name that was like suspicious. Why are they calling it this? Right, but so we'll get to it. Right, so they launched new rockets into the space,
Alright.
and then what else was unusual? But they had a few other things. So yeah, National Guard being sent out to, just in case something happens, right?
Okay, so a plane.
That was
As well, right?
right.
So when they send all these rockets and launch things, we don't know what they're launching, right? So we don't know, but it was a bomb or something, right? We don't know.
But apparently they did it on a previous solar eclipse as well.
So then, okay.
So
I don't know
maybe
much about it.
that's-
I can't really yeah.
Right. So now, so I saw that there were images of So now this is where we start drifting from, like, okay, facts that I saw to now people reporting, right? So I saw people reporting that they were government planes, right? Oh, what's the name? What's the name of this mission?
It was named for the Egyptian god of darkness and the enemy of the sun god Ra, which launched these 3 sounding rockets.
Hold on, wait, let me
It's called the atmospheric perturbations around the eclipse path, called APEP. But I think APEP,
APEP is the name, right?
is the name of the Egyptian nemesis of Ra,
Which is like a snake god deity or something like that.
basically.
Okay, cool. Right. So
Imagine on of the eclipse. I mean,
It went for a scientific community to do, but
And
yeah.
okay. So right. So that's the end of, like, things that were that I thought were reported from official sources. Then I saw that there were people reporting that they were tracking, like they showed videos tracking government planes that was circling certain cities.
I'm sure it's not like an old video, right? So those things could be like old video.
Yeah, so that's why I'm, like, now making a differentiation from reliable sources to
Yeah.
not so reliable sources. So people say that they were seeing they were seeing planes making, like, circles. Well, not circles. Like, I think the shape was pentagrams around certain cities that would fall on the axis of the like on the
Yeah.
not the axis, but the I guess we
Plane.
could call it axis, the plane of the solar eclipse, right? And so have you all ever? I mean, I'm not sure what y'all think about the whole Egypt, Anunnaki, Planet Nerebu.
I think
Um,
they're all really, really smart, and there are things that we just can't explain, so we don't understand it.
So, as I said before, I do believe 100% in anything. I just like to note what people are talking about and be like, okay, all right. A lot of you all believe in this thing very strongly. Okay, noted. Right. So I mean, there's a group of people who believe that the Anunnaki was this alien race that I guess was on Earth a long time ago, and was key in the development of the Egyptian civilizations, whatever, right? And that I think they're supposed to be from planet Neribu, right?
Okay.
And some people are speculating that the solar eclipse is not really a solar eclipse, but it's actually the planet the planet coming back into
So from a
into
scientific
alignment.
standpoint, I mean, unless unless it's a black hole that they're using and the planet covered back,
Um, I mean, we'd be aware of it from a. We have James Webb Telescope on the.
So I mean, like the people who
But
believe in these things, the people who believe in these things believe that it's something that's kept secret. So they don't believe a lot of people who believe in these things think that there's some influence of the Anunnaki, I guess, on our
media.
media, whatever, to not release certain piece of information. So they just completely disregard. I mean, a lot of like super conspiracy theorists like disregard a lot of the images that are shown from satellites
Yeah.
because they find that they look like like
Painted.
paintings, yeah, for the most part, whatever. So I just would
I don't know. It could be, but from at least my scientific understanding, it we have like what 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. 2 trillion.
what's the name of this new telescope
James
image?
Webb.
The James Webb Telescope, right? How do you feel about that? I understand that in the James Webb Telescope, that there were like some really cool new pictures of galaxies that were far more developed than were supposed to have been developed at the time
Yes.
that they captured they captured the image,
Yes.
or that they approximated that they captured the image.
Yeah.
So it's way more developed. So our theories about like the Big Bang could be questioned, expansion and cooling of the universe. So our time frame for Andromeda, which is the nearest galaxy to us, to spin into Earth, that timeline might change compared to how much of a million years, 350 million. I can't remember the exact amount. Or is sun exploding? So I mean, just means that what we thought we understood mightn't be there, and Big Bang might not have happened. It might have been something else. So it's good in a way. It's questioning what we thought we knew. Now we have new data. We could come up with something that fits. Hey, what?
But does that mean that the Big Bang didn't happen? Or does it mean that the velocity could have been affected by other variables across?
It could mean
Me-
plenty things,
yeah.
but
It
the
could
actual
mean like what you think the Big Bang wasn't really that.
Yeah.
It could have been a bang, but it wasn't what we thought it was.
Yeah. Could be like things that existed before. So I know
what I like to do, and I'm still in the process of doing. I like, I wouldn't say biased. I learned a lot from like Hinduism and their scriptures and stuff, and even like these Nostradamus and these prophets or whatnot, right? I think that they had the ability, same energy, right? So certain things are predetermined based on my experience, right?
so. They probably had the ability to see into the future if things are predetermined, but they were also able to access like parallel universes. So some things that they see mightn't be true because it happened in a parallel universe
Right.
they had access to.
Right.
So I like because certain
Cool.
people predict things that came true.
Sorry, this is using the same calendar that you're.
Not calendar, just
No,
general.
she's talking about like prophets and sages and people
They
who
had-
come with this
Right.
this inner knowledge or this knowing. So for me, it's like I believe in same thing like past lives, but I believe in old souls because I believe that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So you meet someone who has passed through several experiences in this several incantations of themselves and they come with their karma and this knowledge that is beyond this world, and you're like, how does this person know all these things? And they try to pass it on to individuals who seem to not know because they are aware and they're seeing that this civilization needs to know this knowledge. So that's why you get a prophet or a sage or a teacher or
Yeah. And then same like all these monks and these real spiritual people, they'll tell you, well, this is not real and there's so much more to it, and I kind of believe them in a way because of my experiences. And then again, tied to growing up in a Hindu home and then all these scriptures and they tell you about the different ages and say we're in Kali Yuga now and how it's going to be. And I kind of see some similarities and I have a fairly open mind.
What's called here?
Huh?
What's
Kali Yuga is like the age that we're in now and they have the exact number of years it's going to be, and the year we actually in the Hindu calendar is different from the 2024 that we're in now. I don't have all the details, but it have like basically you won't have values and how do you and in terms of technology and destruction and then creation again, right? But then you have like Sadhguru, I think, who mentioned how much times the Big Bang happened. I forget the number.
Yeah,
It's like
that it's cyclical, like
Yeah.
that the earth is operating in these cycles.
Yeah.
And therefore, because it's a cycle, it's predictable once you've experienced these cycles over and over. So an old soul or a reincarnated soul would have seen it before and know, okay, this is gonna happen. This is generally what leads up to this, and they can advise on that. You know,
And then you have like sacred geometry and things like that too, like Fibonacci sequence, and you see it in flowers and vegetables and like everything it exists, and it's like
planned?
planned, yeah. It's so planned, and it's like the more well, from my understanding, what I choose to go, I guess like most of it is predetermined. So like, what's the point in living if we know what's gonna happen? It's just like
We don't know. Plenty of people don't know.
yeah.
Plenty of people then go by the pundit.
No, but okay, even if you go by the pundit, right?
Facts.
It's predetermined. So what choice we really have? We think we have choice. We think
But we do have choice.
You think we have choice?
Even in your model, there's choice.
Okay, so I give it right. Yeah, I do. But just to play devil's advocate, right? If I grew up in a home where the only food I'm exposed to is say oatmeal, cereal, and egg, right? How could I possibly think about eating a dragon fruit for breakfast when in my mind the only possibilities that exist, the only outcomes could be is oatmeal, egg, or cereal because that's all I was ever exposed to, right? That's all.
Yeah, you seen a picture of a dragon fruit?
No, I don't know about it. I don't know. I just saying like it is conditioned in the mind, like all the possible outcomes. So my mind is basically like a program, and I can't think about something that I was never exposed.
but what if you were exposed to it in a previous lifetime? So you come and so you grow up in this incantation with porridge and eggs. However, in your past life, you were eating dragon fruit and strawberries and stuff. So you get a dream. And in your dream, you're eating this dragon fruit, right? And so you wake up now the following day saying, but I need to get this. What is this? You think that could happen?
Yeah, but so it's still predetermined, right?
I guess.
I feel like they're easier. You don't even have to be a past life thing. Like I'm always exposed to new things,
Right.
right?
Right. But
So-
before I expose it, you can't know. Okay, yeah, but
Yeah, so
it's-
there are definitely things you can't know, and I feel like I try to be very aware of that.
Right.
That there's a certain number of possibilities that I'm aware of right now, but that doesn't mean that they don't have real other possibilities outside of what I have already accepted. So that's a lot of times why I try to be so open with information. I'm just like, okay, noted. All right, that's possibility 1, possibility 2, 3, and I just trying to collect as many possibilities as possible, and also be aware that okay, I have 100,000 possibilities open right now that I know about, but they have more for sure.
100,000 more.
They definitely have more. So yeah.
So my theory is that I choose to believe that certain things are predetermined, like big energy imprints, and some we do have some control over. That's my personal belief. But I don't know. We'll see what science says, right?
I don't have a belief on it in that I don't have any data on it.
Yeah.
To say that I believe in it, but I know that a lot of people have interacted with people who have been able to predict things. Oh, you know what I want to know? Have you ever had from the pundit? Have you ever gotten like a flat out wrong information? Like it was like dead wrong. That ever happened?
Dead wrong. I think with my mom's death, I think he said 2021 and it was 2020, but I don't think it was like off by that much.
That's pretty good.
So,
That's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
Yeah.
like,
That's the closest error. That's a real. Yeah, that's a.
And
This
when
man,
what part of the year in
what part of the country this man is?
So I'm curious for Edson because like I want like this person doesn't know anything about Edson and I want them to tell Edson a lot of things about Edson.
I want to find out. I really want to know.
Yeah, we're organized. We're organized.
All right, so we've been like, so you've talked about a potential possibility with parallel universes, right? I presume that that's just one of the possibilities that you are considering, because you also mentioned that you think that it's a simulation. So I'm not sure if you think that it's a simulation as well as parallel universes, or you just like acknowledging both possibilities. Could it?
Yeah.
It could be one of the two, or
Yeah, so I have like
which one do you think?
different theories, but I don't know which one it is.
Wait.
So based on my experiences and basic knowledge that I have, so I have one of my theories is simulation and simulation alongside parallel universes. One is this is what it is. A next one where the universe is so big it must have other things there. So I have different. I don't know which one it is. It's just me pulling together things based on the information I have. So open-minded as it could be more, but using the information to have to say, okay, what possibilities I can.
you've narrowed them down
Yeah.
to those.
So
Okay,
it's
which ones? Do you have one that's most likely? That you
my
consider
favorite. I have my favorite.
your favorite? Okay.
My favorite one is I think we have this life here and some things are predetermined, some aren't. And when we die, we go into a different energy state. So similar to what science in the Higgs field, we just decouple from that. The energy goes to we go to a different state, and we continue to exist there. And then eventually, certain things fall into play again, and then we couple with the Higgs boson and come back again into this world that we exist in, and so on.
That's my most.
So earlier you said that what's the point if everything is predetermined?
Yeah.
Right. So do you believe that there is a true purpose?
So I'm struggling with this, but based on so I read a lot, spiritual and monks and other things, and it's like you before you're born. I think what I choose to believe is before you're born, you know exactly why you come here, what you came to learn based on your soul development or whatever.
Hence it's predetermined.
And then so what I did was
I read like a lot of these books on past life regression and try to piece other people's experiences to what I have, whatever scientific data I have that I am exposed to, and basically it's like, okay, I think we know exactly what we're gonna do and accomplish in this life.
In
detail before we're born, we choose with parents, everything with friends, who we're going to interact with,
Heard
what
that
we have to
before.
learn. And we have free will to an extent, so we won't always accomplish what we want to. And then when you die, I think it's a soul's journey is the book. Is someone that does past life, it's a psychiatrist, I believe. They do past life regression, and they have different stories, and they wrote a book about every different experience.
Wow.
like when you die, it's like okay, you meet all these different souls in terms of energy, and you bunch up. So say we are at similar energy level, you would be my soul family there. Or if both of you are
Right.
at energy level, as a soul family, so you go back to your soul family. It's different levels because different people have to learn different things, right?
And they review what you learn, what you didn't learn, if you're going to come back, things like that. So I choose to believe that based on, hey, well, it's a scientific person doing these regressions, these things that coming out of people that they're not aware of using hypnosis, and they
I want to try it actually, past life regression and hypnosis, and see.
I've done the hypnosis before.
it's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
How was
though. I
it
don't
good?
want anybody to program me.
So that's the thing. It takes a lot of trust to go under hypnosis. But the most important part is to know that you can pull yourself out at any time. It's just the state that you're in based on the delta waves, and you are so susceptible to suggestion that you're gonna respond to the instructions by their intention, right? Based on your state. However, you're in control at all times and you can pull yourself out. So it just takes a level of trust. I think it's amazing because you can get past the layers of yourself that are stopping you from going deeper and healing from certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you were aware what you said when you were under hypnosis. Remember the experience?
I remember the majority of the beginning.
Yeah.
and the second half is a bit blurry, but I remember feeling release and coming back out of it feeling as though I addressed this particular issue that I went there to address.
I want to try. And I like, so I had weird experiences like that too. I think is it Hungary or Sweden? I think I was in Hungary, yeah. And I was in a park, right? And my knee was hurt, my knee issue, right? And this really old lady came up to me. I don't know how she knew I spoke English or whatever. And she was like, the knee pain you're getting, it is not physical, right? And I was like, first of all, how does lady know I have knee pain and what?
You just rub up any plenty. Huh?
No, I was just sitting on a bench. I was just sitting on a bench, right? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, in one of your past lives, you lost your leg, and your body still thinks that you don't have anything under your knee, and that is the pain that you've been getting in your knee. And I was like, okay, so my body have memory of my past life, and then and then we chatted a little bit, and she told me about Reiki and different things. And she was telling me that, your body must have memory. Your genetics come from your grandparents.
It's in your blood.
Yeah. And she was like, just focus. And she told me how to fix it.
What genetics are coming from your grandparents have to do with your past? Yeah, but what has to do with your past
memory.
life?
It stores memory from generations ago.
And it has everything to do with your past life because you are the living incantation of everything that went before you.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe I'm thinking of
it's
past life and your
and lineage.
Lineages.
So the energy, I think they mean the energy that energies needed created, not the stress. So the energy from different past lives you.
So she could have meant that you have an ancestor who had an amputation.
No.
And
you told me in my past life,
no.
I was at
in your past her words were specific. She said in your past life.
So I didn't go in detail, but she went to explain I was in war, it was a battlefield, and what I.
That's not her ancestor. That's her.
Yeah,
that's
me.
Her energetic field.
Right. So I'm just
previous form.
What we get in is Jasmine's memory of a conversation with a Hungarian woman speaking in English, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, she said that, but she could have meant that
she would have said your ancestor or your grandfather or whatever. She said in your past life.
No, but I'm saying that she could have possibly meant it's possible. Yeah,
highly.
You see how you're like 100% like
no, but I highly doubt it because the words were chosen. Okay, if it's not your language, if English is not your language, you're hardly gonna use the term past life, which is an English phrase.
I think her English was pretty okay because we had a discussion.
Right, so she knew what she was saying.
We spoke about Reiki, and then in terms of approaching me, I was like, so how come you just like...
I know people who speak English.
And she's telling you, she's not telling you your great-grandfather busted the knee and that why your knee hurting. She's telling you it's your knee that gets
and energy, and she could sense my energy field, and that's...
It's very specific.
So how did DNA have that?
The context of the conversation then was like everything is stored in your body and you can access anything. So this is a next weird. I have like so much weird experiences in my life, right? So I was in UE, right? And it had this old bearded man sitting down by let's call it Presticon, the little bench by right? And walking minding my business, and he's like, I have real energy, and all I'm actually trying to do, all the answers within you.
I never see this man before, and that's when I was doing real quantum physics and thing, right? And I met him twice in UE, and he was like, I'm telling you, all the answers you want is inside of you. You don't need to do all that maths. Random people, like.
And then I was like, why stop me? And he's like, your energy. I could feel your energy, and you have a positive, strong. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I wish I could feel people energy. I don't know who not to talk to in my life. I would say.
No, but you already know all the answers are inside of you.
And it's like I think it. So you have so much weird, like if people could feel your energy and I have some experiences too. Again, I have like my life is so weird, right?
I think in terms of energy, if you're in tune with it and train it, it will become better. You just need to practice it, and I think telepathy is possible in this life.
Definitely.
I think we could communicate telepathically, and it's there in terms of physics, in terms of waves. If you have waves with same frequency and amplitude and they mesh resonate, you get a high amplitude if they're not destructive. And I use that all the time to explain to people why I don't like to socialize.
You didn't want you read the gateway program,
The what?
the gateway program, CIA gateway program.
No, I didn't read it.
Wild, you need to read it
We started
immediately.
reading it, so
Okay,
Stop.
let's start with
it's really good.
So it's the
Frequency?
yeah, it's the yeah. Well, and the same thing with frequency. Well, so it's the wildest thing that I've read ever. I think in my whole life, right? So essentially, this is on the CIA website, official, right?
Declassified.
Declassified.
It's physics then.
Expert.
It has some physics
Yeah,
in
it is.
Approved for release 2003.
But it was done in like 83 or something.
Yeah, so this is old
43.
information. So they've refined this process. So anyhow, at the end of the day, they say in this document, the basics of it is that we are essentially living in a type of a simulation, right? Where we can control things with our mind, right? And by accessing certain wavelengths of energy,
And levels of consciousness, but
I
therefore.
from a scientific standpoint,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
We
can-
can match those energies.
yeah, you can. So it's exactly what
You can
were
literally
thinking, yeah?
astral project.
That's just you can astral project as one thing. You can heal yourself. You can communicate with other people.
In terms of the manifestations, I have my own theory on that. So, like, people would want, like, oh, I want to win the lotto, and I focus on it and not winning it. I think the energy is not just the thought, it's throughout your subconscious and permeates your whole body, and so much people can't get to the subconscious.
I permeating it and not winning the lotto.
No, because you're also
I've
thinking
been-
of 12 other ways how you could make this money.
No, as real thing. No, as real thing. The lotto one
When I
too.
win the lotto, I'll tell you. It means I figure it out, right? When I win the lotto, but not Trinidad lotto, a US lotto. I think it was $1 billion.
Us dollars,
Maybe
hello.
not for me to do my experiment.
I've never envisioned myself winning. Well, I was like to envision that, but I was really thinking I was winning Trinidad lotto. I think I was
I
winning
want
20. I was winning
To
20.
win the Trinidad lotto using maths, but
I need all the historical data. I need the historical because I believe in maths and bell curve distribution and certain numbers probably are playing higher than the same
Right.
of many conversations we had. And I think if I have the historical data, my chances.
I think if it was a true lottery, that would work. But I don't know. I feel like I think it's rigged. It's
Yeah.
rigged. Yeah. So I mean, like,
Have you ever come across stories where people have won the lotto multiple times through manifestation?
yeah. There's that lady. That lady who won 52 raffles. We talked about that already by chance.
No, we never talked about it.
You know who I'm talking about?
No.
So there's this lady who won 52 raffles back to back through the power of manifestation. I can't remember her name. I mean, we could pull it up while I explain the story.
Figure it out.
The wildest one was where she won a house. She went to this raffle, and the lady who was doing the draw recognized her in the audience when they were pulling out the name, and so the guy who was pulling out the name had a paper in his hand, and then she looked towards him and was like, "Nah, put it back. Pull on next one." And then the next one she pulled was her name, and she ended up winning a house. I'm not sure if we could
Wow.
get her name, but she's won like tons and tons of raffles. No maths, but maybe it's maths, different type of maths.
yeah. So for me, it's physics.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
physics.
Maybe.
And I think we probably have ways to block it and stuff.
Stuff. So that's my thing with socializing. Like, I would be around some people and feel so drained, and my theory is, well, the different energies just lead to destructive interference, and it leave me feeling worse. And then you be around some people and feel like really, really good.
But yeah, I think that
Oh, you're talking about Helen Hadsell.
I think it's that.
She's known as the contest queen.
Yeah.
She entered and won many contests for items and for all expense paid trips. She even won a house, which was showcased at the 1964-65 New York World's Fair. Later, she lectured and held workshops on positive thinking. Yeah, and she was the author of a book called A Doctor of Metaphysics.
Yeah,
it
she
till you
should. She should.
Fake it till you make it. It's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yep. But I think it's more than that. Like if I think of myself as losing weight, I think and focus on okay, I'm just gonna be skinny. I'm gonna be skinny. I don't do anything about it. I don't think it's possible for me.
No, they say I don't you know well you would know Joe Dispenza. I don't know. He's a neuroscientist
I read a lot, so probably
that
I just can't recall. Yeah.
is also a quantum physicist, and he's like crazy on YouTube and all over the social media. But he wrote this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and in it he talks about acknowledging how you got to where you are and resonating with where you want to be and who you think you should be and feeling it, living it before it actually happens. The fake it till you make it principle, and that he has measured scientifically the effects of it, seen people go into spontaneous remission, heal themselves on spot at his workshops, and he's doing it to prove this same point that we can do this with our minds.
Power of the mind.
Scientific evidence.
All right, so we're gonna use the power of the mind in a different way right now. So Kamala, you have some questions in your WhatsApp chat from ChatGPT, right? So I'm gonna let Jasmine choose the category of the questions we're gonna do. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions.
And not these at this time, so just random. Anyone.
And we're gonna race to see who can get the answer first, right? So I think the categories are, I think there's like basic math, basic physics. I think there's pop trivia.
I think I want to try pop trivia.
Yay!
Crap.
You're definitely gonna win this.
Well, who gonna win it?
It won't be me.
All right. So Kamada, just keep track of who have the points, who have more points, right? So
Okay.
I think it's 10 questions, so you could see.
Alright, cool. So my girl has chosen hair pop culture trivia.
Yeah.
First question. Who is known as the king of pop?
Michael Jackson.
Oh dear gosh, Edson.
You know the question.
No.
It was multiple choice, Edson.
Oh, you're all right.
I didn't get to give the choices. Alright,
Alright,
let's
I got
move
it,
on
got
to
it.
the next question.
I'll wait till should we? Okay, we'll go through. We'll go through the.
I should be able to
And
give
we'll-
the multiple.
And then after you read the answers.
I think
we'll
answer
say
the
go.
point. You don't need the multiple choice. If you know it, just answer. I mean that.
Okay, cool.
My
Yeah.
gosh, okay. What movie features the quote, "May the force be with you"?
Star Wars. That one.
Right. Which TV show is set in the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana?
Crap.
I'm not good with movies.
Oh, we need the answer.
Can I give you all? Okay.
Hawkins,
so
Indiana.
either Riverdale, Twin Peaks, The Vampire Diaries, or Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Oh my
Stranger Things.
goodness.
Yes.
I guess.
Stranger Things.
You're
Yeah.
both right.
I guess that
So-
one.
Who wrote the Harry Potter series?
J.K. Rowling.
Oh crap.
Right.
Sorry, JK.
What is the name of Beyonce's first solo album?
Damn.
I don't know. Let's say the options.
The options are Beyonce, 4, Lemonade, or Dangerously in Love.
Beyonce had to be.
The third one.
I don't know.
Dangerously in Love, she's right.
I guess
one.
it, you know. I guess it. I guess.
Wait. These are the answers there.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Oh, you thought I knew? I
Yeah.
knew I would not be able to get
I just thought.
right.
I thought when it come out to the album, your first album is being named. Is the way.
Not everybody does that.
It doesn't seem right.
Oh, crap.
And
Okay.
let's not talk about Beyonce. Which artist is known for the pop hit Firework? We all know
Rihanna.
Katy Perry.
what?
Katy Perry.
Yes, Katy Perry is right. You're losing here, Edson. Jeez.
Oh god.
What is the highest?
No, I had some other answers.
You had one.
I had more than one. I had more than one.
Okay, I had like 2.
Time, but I mean.
Oh no, if I can't beat any pop trivia, I can't beat any of the others.
Nice. What is the highest grossing movie of all time as of 2020?
Harry Potter.
Avatar.
Where's the options?
Good job, Edson. The options were Star Wars, Titanic, Avengers, or Avatar.
Okay.
Okay, well, I don't know.
It was Avatar.
Okay.
Which of the following is a Netflix original series? Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, The Crown, or The Sopranos?
The Crown.
Wow.
Crown there.
That one.
Wow. What band was Harry Styles originally a part of?
Sorry, Styles.
One Direction, The Wanted, 5 Seconds of Summer, or Maroon 5?
One Direction.
Good job, Edson. That's a good guess. One Direction.
I'm looking at body language around the room and picking up.
Right.
I
Terrible.
can't
Yes,
see
you said.
I should have revealed my
Yes.
secret.
No, now we know.
Oh, crap.
All right, last question in this category is who played the title? Oh, this one is easy. Who
No.
played the title character in the 2018 film Black Panther? Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman.
I don't even know this one.
Michael B. Jordan.
Thank the Lord. Thank
You know the answer not even there, but yes, it's we all know it's Chadwick Boseman when he rests
I won this
in
category, by the way.
Huh?
I don't watch TV
You-
and I won.
peace. She ran she get
I
like
think there was some bad maths going on there because the first like 2 or 3 we had
She
what?
still won.
Come on,
I don't even need to see
come on,
the
it's like whatever you
She
do.
won, Edson. You were losing.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
And she's not in a thinking
I
mood.
know she's also not good at pub trivia, so all the others I have like an extreme disadvantage. Extreme disadvantage. So what are the other categories of questions?
So,
This is category.
questions about Trinidad and Tobago, right? Math questions and
I think Trinidad.
physics questions. She's like,
Trinidad.
you don't give me things that I study.
I like calculations. I don't really.
This one gonna make me feel cheap
So
because
the Trinidad question.
Maybe I mean.
crap. Let's go.
Yay! All right. What are the what are the colors of the Trinidad and Tobago?
Red, white, and black.
All right.
What now? How that point going?
Yeah, they had a split. That's a draw because they all said the
Yeah.
same thing.
All right, okay.
What are the colors of the national flag? Okay, I said that already. Which body of water lies to the east of Trinidad and Tobago?
The
We-
East, the Atlantic Ocean.
Good job. What
West
is the
East.
what is the capital city of Trinidad and Tobago?
Port of Spain.
Good job, Ed.
She'll never get that one. Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago is known for being the birthplace of which genre of
Hip
music?
Oh,
Soca. Calypso. Oh.
Okay,
Nah,
we had
2 answers.
they had 2 answers, and you both said the 2 answers.
So that's a draw. That
So
was a draw.
so right. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Which festival is famously celebrated
Carnival.
in Trinidad?
Really question.
Yes, that's the
I hit it.
answer.
I did it.
It's rapid fire. It's rapid fire. Right? What is the national bird of Trinidad and Tobago?
Coco. Scalpel.
What?
I did both. I said both.
Because Tobago alone, Scarlet Ibis is right. So we'll give.
It's Trinidad, not Trinidad.
I said
Coin.
Coco.
I said
and
Trinidad
then-
first. I didn't.
No, so I said Coco.
And then you're both
And then I
said
said
Scarlet
Scarlet
Ibis at the
Ibis.
same time.
I said,
So that would be a tie.
But your first choice was Coco.
I-
And her
I-
first choice was
yeah.
Scarlet
I wait to
Ibis.
hear the question.
I given it to her.
I-
Not biasedly, but you know. Which of the following is a popular dish in Trinidad and Tobago? Jerk chicken
Roti.
In which year?
It's a villain madness.
In which year? Come on, such a vengeance. In which year did Trinidad and Tobago gain independence?
1962.
Ooh.
That was that. What was that?
I think I started first. I started. with
You
like-
started first, but finished
We
two.
finished the same
He
At the
said
same
it real fast. That's
Zzzz-do.
real
As-
fast. He said it very, very quickly. I think he
Zzzz-do.
finished before you.
I think I said do.
We'll give Edson that one.
Wait.
Which?
I think that was a tie. But okay.
Oh, look, you being modest now. Which Trinidadian athlete is famous for winning the country's first Olympic
Hazel
gold
Crawford.
medal? In
Atabola.
1976, it was Hazley Crawford.
You say that, cover?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
He said it
Zzzz.
before the question was done, girl. Last question. Which island is the larger of
Trinidad.
two?
I say Trinidad. Trinidad.
That make up the nation of Trinidad. Yes, you're right.
Castages with Edson tactics.
So the,
Yeah, good.
okay.
Good.
Went to- no, I was watching the points. I know I had a 2 points on you, so I gave you an extra on it.
Oh,
So you went up 6. Okay.
That's very nice.
All right, so we're going some tricky waters here now. So they have physics and they have maths.
Oh, we have to do all these questions.
Maths.
Yeah.
Maths, all right. Oh, good. Well, you know, I hope it's an
This
okay, you know.
this
Oh,
one
it's
meter.
a calculator. Yeah, my brain off right now.
All right. Huh?
We'll see what we can do.
No.
I might get just blaze
the
it.
math, I'm not sure the
It's
math
just-
questions are complete. They look incomplete.
Oh, okay.
Well, you could,
We could do the physics.
yeah, we do physics.
Yeah, these are they're missing some details there.
Okay.
It's a good thing I could notice that and not so badly.
Take care, they're not missing any details.
Hey,
And they just rushed.
Okay,
That's
the
that.
first question is what is the value of Question mark.
Infinity.
52.
The options are 6, 8, 9, and 16, and the answer is 8. Some details missing. Some details missing.
Okay, that's good.
Alright, physics.
Physics, right. What is the SI unit of force?
Newtons.
Ooh.
That's close.
I think Edson said Newton.
Okay, alright, that's it. Yeah.
You said force Newton, and he said Newton.
All right.
Right. Which of the following is not a vector quantity? Velocity, acceleration, mass, or force?
Mass.
Okay, that goes to Jasmine.
She got it.
What does the slope of a velocity versus time graph represent?
Acceleration.
Ooh,
Okay, that's
it's C, acceleration. In an object, if an object is moving at a constant velocity, what is the net force acting on it? A, equal to its weight. B, 0. C, increasing over time. D, decreasing over time.
Wait, it's
0.
She's right. It's 0. Which law
Okay.
states that for every action there's an
Newton's third law of motion.
Newton's third law. In case you did not know, it's Newton's third law. What is the potential energy of an object with a mass of 10 kilograms that is 5 meters above the ground? Assuming that grams are equal to 9.8 meters per second squared.
50 by 500. 400.
What's the answers?
She's right.
What happened to the ABCD?
Sorry.
ABC.
Oh, well, no, we don't need everything.
You got it. It's 490, but okay.
Yeah, like, sorry. Yeah.
She was saying numbers, so I thought like
You can watch
guessing.
it. You can watch it.
No, I thought she was guessing the numbers.
No, MJ.
I calculated.
Alright,
10 by 5
alright,
and 9.8.
She got it.
I need to get all 4 questions correct.
Which of the following is a measure?
6.
Wrong. I get it.
6 is not an option.
Okay.
Which of the following is a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in an object? Temperature, heat, thermal energy,
Temperature.
or entropy?
Repeat the
Temperature.
options.
He said temperature. He's right.
Huh?
Temperature,
Kinetic
heat,
energy?
thermal energy, and
Kinetic
entropy.
energy is a half mv squared though. A half mv squared is mass and velocity, but alright, cool.
Chat.
Oh no, kinetic energy in terms of heat.
Okay, yeah. Temperature.
3 all
Of particles in an object.
Need a whole 3.
All right. What happens to the pressure of a gas if its volume is halved while temperature is
It's
kept
increased.
constant?
Pressure increase.
Increases how? The options are: it is halved, it remains the same, it
expands.
doubles, or it quadruples.
Doubles.
It doubles.
It doubles.
It doubles.
P pressure is inversely proportional to volume.
It doubles.
P1, P1, okay. Alright, take that one.
Good job, Edson.
Proportional.
I swear you guessed.
Go ahead.
I feel like
Yeah, he
guessed.
guessed. And
Right now, I'm calling on the Edsons from other universities
to help.
to give me. Because there's a.
Right. Which of the following electromagnetic waves has the shortest wavelength?
I'll-
A. Microwaves. B. X-rays.
Gamma
C,
rays.
C,
X-ray or gamma ray?
ultraviolet light, and D. Infrared light. It's X-rays.
X-ray.
She's right.
You didn't hear me say X-rays?
No. What type of?
I could have sworn I said that very loudly.
I think gamma ray was
What's this called?
I said that very loud.
I said it before.
You will need to adjust your.
The mic. Yo, you need to adjust the mic. What type of mirror is used to form a real image? A. A plane mirror. B. A convex mirror.
Plane mirror.
C. A concave mirror.
Plane
Or D. None of the above.
None of the above.
The answer is concave mirror. You're both wrong.
What?
What type of mirror is used to form a real image?
Image.
But where's a real? It's a reflection.
They say it concave.
And you were thinking a real mirror, there's an inverted.
Yeah. That's a
I
good
just
question.
did it.
Alright, yeah. We two both
We should
wrong
scratch
now.
that.
That was the last one.
Okay.
But either way,
I got to take out.
Jasmine, I believe you won.
Yay.
No, think I could win your end. I can't win. Martial arts.
Very good job.
Okay.
But that was fun. This was our first question segment. I want to do more of these. I want to get some. Well, we'll see more in future episodes. But we'll end there. I want to thank you again so much, Jasmine, for coming out
Inspired.
today. I hope you don't set me up next week and you show up to training on Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right.
Jasmine's in our advanced.
We'll need another
Take one.
episode to go deeper into the quantum because I have so many
Questions.
question.
So we'll do that. I think we could do it when you go through. That will be the episode when you go through the gateway.
The rest of the
experiment.
gateway.
The
Ooh.
rest of the gateway experiment. You should. I'm going to send it to you. It's very interesting. It highlights everything we said.
Yeah, I'll read it.
I'm so surprised no one is just. It's not the focus of
I
everybody's
think it's
answer.
probably because too I've been out of it for a while. Like I stopped doing the research and reading and all these things for probably the last decade. Parenting, kind of.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So,
I mean, well, I used to read stories.
but
You're still reading plenty. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how you do it.
No, now it's more podcasts and videos.
So you
like
listen.
that I drive and
yeah.
Okay. So again, thanks so much, Jasmine. And before we wrap up, I just want to thank again our sponsor, Synapse Medical Services Limited, who is making this program possible. Thanks for the support. Their link will be in our bio. So check them out. And I think you'll love the quality of the service that you get from them. Thanks. Look out for episode 7 next week. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.